Hey everyone, this is Pick One, Pack One, everything you need to start your draft off right. I'm your host, Gavin McKay, and I'm here with my co-host, Paul J. Camo. How are you doing, Paul?
I'm good, Gavin. How are you doing today?
I'm great. A little rainy
Good,
here in
good.
New England, but otherwise staying dry for the most
You
part.
you excited for today? I'm excited. To,
I'm beyond excited. Yeah, no,
good.
today's a day that I've been looking forward to for a while.
So today's episode is a little bit different. This is going to be an Aetherdrift Draftalong. Gavin and I are going to go through a draft on Arena. It's a premier draft. We're going to discuss our picks and attempt to navigate our way to the best deck.
Yeah, so it's really exciting because we're gonna talk through all of our picks. We're going to see what makes the cut. We're going to try and suss out, what lane we should be in, look for signals, and generally try and draft a really good deck. Hopefully we get some good cards and some good discussion.
Yeah, and thanks to the power of 17 lands, we'll also be able to kind of go back and review our draft, look at possible forks or deviations in the road where you might have been able to go a little different, and then we'll be able to discuss our deck building and see
Absolutely.
what makes the cut and what doesn't.
Yeah, but before that, we have a recurring segment that we'd like to call This or That. So, Paul, you want to bring us into that
Yeah,
for this
so
week? Because this involved your draft, right, the other day.
so this is a draft that I did that kind of turned into a train wreck, honestly. I'm not gonna lie.
It happens. It
And
happens to the best of us.
we started out feeling really good. Pack one, the green was flowing, things felt kind of good, and we were navigating to get where we want to. So imagine that we've settled into green, but we are unsure of our second color. We've got some speculative picks that you can see here.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Defend the Rider. There's a Point the Way in the pile there. Probably not going to play that, but it's in the pile under consideration. There's
Mm-hmm.
Venomous Lagak. There's
Gastel Raider, Grim Javelineer, Bestow Greatness, Elvish Refueler, a Pothole Mole, and a Hazard of the Dunes.
Yeah, and a Velo Heartbike. Can't forget that. There's a Keen Buccaneer that's kind of speculative there also. The black and the blue is really the speculative stuff. It's the green that we're trying
You have a
to...
nice green shell.
Yeah. And so we look at wrapping up that pack, and we get to pack two, pick one.
Yeah.
And now we're just faced with this pack that's just like, well, there feels like there's an obvious pick here.
Mm-hmm.
But in retrospect, I felt like that pick was wrong.
So if we look at the clock, we can see that you had 14 seconds left when this screenshot was taken. I'm sure you used all of the time that you had to make this decision. There's a lot to consider here in a short amount of time. So, obviously the three cards that I'm really looking at the most myself are the one that you selected here, this Lumbering World Wagon. Then we have the Thundering Broodwagon over on the right. And the third one that I would, gravitate towards if those two weren't in the pack is a Run Over. So what did you end up going with, Paul?
I took the World Wagon, and every time I drew it in every game, I wanted it to be the Broodwagon instead. It just was not relevant or impactful in every game that I saw it.
The World Wagon is very good, but I think that 4 toughness kind of holds it back a little bit, just because it's something that, can trade down sometimes. You're not always going to get an attack with a huge, vehicle. The fact that it grabs a land is amazing, but I don't really see too many larger creatures yet here in your build. So, you aren't really ramping into anything other than maybe Hazard of the Dunes at this point, and you don't have that much top end to support the need for that much ramp, my opinion.
The question that I had in the draft is, do I take the safe pick of the Lumbering World Wagon, the rare, and cement myself more in green, or do I establish at this point that I'm in black-green and take the Broodwagon?
Yeah, and so
I agonized over that because I still wasn't sure if I was actually playing black. I'm not crazy about the 3 black cards that I had drafted, 2 Grim Javelineers and a Gastel Raider. I could kind of take or leave those cards.
Right. The thing I think you had to ask yourself, or the thing that is prevalent in this set mostly, is this card good enough for me to disregard a card that may be more synergistic? And I've found the answer to that is usually yes. The more powerful cards in this set are significantly more powerful. Like the tier levels are just that much higher. And if you're not impacting the board in some way with the card that you're choosing in your early picks, um, it's just kind of a recipe for disaster. Now, not to say Lumbering World Wagon isn't fantastic; it is very good. But you kind of have an abundance of riches in this pack here. I don't know. This was pack 2, you said?
Yeah, this is pack 2, pick 1.
Pack 2,
So
pick 1. So the person that's passing back to your right wasn't seeing a lot of green in pack 1, I'm sure. And so in pack 2, you might get hooked up with more green cards because they'd be passing those as they probably won't be in green, or if they are, you might have more abundant green cards and more green commons and things that you could take at that time. So taking that into consideration as well, obviously hindsight 2020.
right.
Are there any other cards in here that you would say are first pickable cards?
So the decision for me personally was the World Wagon, the 2 vehicles, the fight spell, or the refueler, honestly. Because if I wanted to go into green blue exhaust, I would love to have a second copy of the refueler and then just be looking to pick up every exhaust in blue green that would come my way. Notably, I didn't see a Scurryfoot in pack 1. There's no Scurryfoot in this deck. So like the one Elvish refueler that I have already is kind of like a speculative pick. Like, I think the card is fine on its own. I will play it. Notably, I do have the Keen Buccaneer in the pool already from pack 1 if I did end up going down that lane. But that lane just didn't materialize, and I ultimately did end up in black-green just because that's kind of where the picks kind of rode from there.
Came from.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so ultimately looking back on the draft and being kind of sore, the Brood Wagon felt like it was the correct pick in retrospect, but I'm not sure if that's correct. That could just be like results oriented thinking, which I try and avoid. So that's the question that I would put out to you is that this is your pick, and I'm putting this out to the audience. What is your pick here? Pack 2, pick 1. What are you going to be taking from this?
Yeah. The last thing I'll just say is that, if you are cutting green in pack 1, you're probably going to see a lot of green in pack 2, or at least in pack 3, because hopefully by taking all these green cards, you cut the person to your, that you're passing to your left. So hopefully at some point you'll get hooked up with more green. Pack 2, you can kind of start to speculate into the second color, especially because you really aren't in a second color yet to this point. Brood Dragon is one of those reasons why you would transition into a color. It's that good of a card. For me, the order of operations for pick order would probably be the Brood Wagon, then Run Over, then World Wagon or Spin Out, and maybe Grimbauble, based on what I see here. But again, for different people, it's different orders. Let us know what you like, what you think, what you would have taken in this situation. Yeah, that's this or that. Let's see what our audience thinks for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the draft portion of today's video, which is very exciting.
So this was
Let's
a warm up.
right in.
This or that gave us a nice warm up. So now that our brains are flowing, let's hope that the packs cooperate and we have some easier decisions to make.
Hopefully. I mean, when is drafting in Magic ever easy? But it's one of those things where I'm just really excited to see what we can do.
So before we dive in, while we're diving in, while we're jumping in, talk to me about what you want to be your pick 1, pack 1.
So I would hope for any of the mythic Gear Hulks. That would be a really nice thing to start with. Although the first 3 or 4 picks, you can't really get married to them. You have to keep an open mind, especially because there are so many bombs. If somebody opens a bomb and they want to start forcing a color, sometimes it just feels like that's that's the thing you need to be doing. But really looking out for signals around pick 5 or pick 6, depending on what we see. Obviously, when in doubt, take a green card.
Yeah.
Can't really go wrong there.
Gavin,
So if we
that's what
see,
I'm gonna say. I want to
yeah,
see green cards. I want to see a pick one, pack one green card, a stampeding scurry foot, anything
migrating
in
Ketradon.
that line.
What
Exactly,
what do you think
exactly.
the best green pick one pack one would be?
If it's a
Putting you on the
common, I would
spot.
go with the scurry foot personally.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would
I
do.
would say run over is also a pick one pack one a bull card, unless there's like tons of other green in the pack and you don't want to send a green signal over.
All
But
three of those are in consideration to be
yeah,
first pickable cards.
definitely. Well, shall we fire up the engines and see what we got?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool. Here we go. All right. So obviously, we're trying to do some of these draft alongs, and if you like this concept, if you like this idea, um, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so that you can see more content like this. We will be doing the drafting and building portion of this, and let's see what we got. Oh, a pretty
Oh,
good one.
slam dunk.
Agnosaurus Rex.
Agnosaur
That's a good
Rex.
one. That's a
Yeah.
really good one.
So let me read this card real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Agnosaur Rex is 3 green green. It's a rare dinosaur. It has trample. It's an 8/8 body,
8/8.
and it has cycling 2 and a green. When you cycle this card, put 2+1/+1 counters on up to one target creature or vehicle. It gains trample and indestructible until end of turn.
What can I say? We got our wish. I mean, this is a green bum for sure. Let's
Yeah.
talk about some other ones in the pack, just so that we can cover our bases here. Some other good cards. The Sundial Dawn Tyrant is much better than I expected. Just being a 2-mana 3/3 just is good. This Reckless Velocitar has been pretty good as well, especially to push through additional damage that you would need to cross the finish line in red. The Fang Druid Summoner has also been very good, especially in green. Gastel Thrillseeker is very good. The Broodheart Engine is a great Golgari blue black, or excuse me, green black card, but definitely the Agnosaurus Rex is the pick there. All right,
then
and we
I
can
think we
follow
just
that up
follow
with
it up
either a
with my.
Scurryfoot or a Greenbelt Guardian. I like the Scurryfoot a little bit better,
I would go with the little
personally.
mouse that could, absolutely.
Yeah, the
It always
Guardian is
brings a
good,
friend.
but I feel like the person to our left may be taking either this like Outpace Oblivion, which does 5 damage and starts your engines, or if they're in blue, a Memory Guardian. There's
The
also a
2
Spin
black
Out here in the
cards,
pack.
yeah, the spin out and the wicker folk are definitely. I think we're going to be sending a strong black signal. So
Yeah, we'll have to see
ideally,
what it comes back with in
yeah.
like what comes back around for our wheel pick. All right. Anything to say about this starting column, Guide Light Matrix, or Burner Rocket?
I think starting column and guide light matrix are interesting. Starting column, if we're going to be in a 3-color deck, I'd love to have one.
Mm-hmm.
Start your engines and that sort of thing is just kind of incidental.
But it's got to be the Scurryfoot, right?
Scurryfoot, slam dunk.
Ooh, okay. So we have a Beast Rider and a Ketradon and a Hazard of the Dunes. People are just hooking us up with green today.
That is
I've
fine.
lost so much to this card, this Veteran Beast Rider. I don't know what it is. I just can't seem to kill it, and it just kind of takes over the game for me. But I can obviously see Migrating Ketradon being the best card in the pack here, and seeing if we can maybe wheel this Veteran Beast Rider, because white and green, that combination Selesnya is kind of weak. What are your thoughts on that?
White cards scare people. I would stay mono green and just take the Migrating Ketradon right now.
It's a safe pick. It's a pretty safe pick for pack 3. Again, if the green like dries up or we stop seeing cards like the Beast Rider and the Hazard of the Dunes, it could be a signal that green is being taken. Some other considerations are this Dracosaur Auxiliary, which is just okay. It can be really good, but not particularly. And the Thopterist, which makes a 1/1 flyer when it answers. And look at that, another Hazard of the Dunes. Wow, this draft is coming together pretty easily, I'd have to say. We haven't had too much too much debate about stuff yet.
Not yet.
Well, that's a good thing. Hazard of the Dunes, I think, is a great card. It's fantastic with the exhaust. We're also passing a ton of white. We're passing this Alacrian Armory, which is pretty. It's decent. Definitely, maybe a playable card if you've got enough vehicles. The Cycler. There's a Gravestalker. I'm seeing a little bit of red. This Magmakin Artillerist and Pedal to the Metal. Both of them are just fine.
There's nothing that I'm crazy about beyond the green card. Like, since we've already passed black also.
We'll have to see what comes back around.
Yeah.
All right, next one. All right, so we've got an Intimidation Tactics, which is pretty good. That's a really good black card. Maybe black is flowing from this direction. We also have an Engine Rat, a Wild Roads, a Cloudspire Coordinator, Gilded Goda.
Coordinator is sweet, but this is an Engine Rat pick to me. There's a night market.
It could be an Engine Rat.
Also.
How highly do you take these night markets for splashing and also cycling?
I try and take them highly for splashing and for cycling, but I would probably take my first Engine Rat over my first night market personally.
Not Intimidation Tactics? This is super good on turn 1.
I think the card's fine. It's not what I want to draw when I've got 7 or 8 mana on.
Yeah, and we're not splashing anything quite yet, so this night market may be more speculative than concrete.
And cutting off the rest of the black and seeing what comes back,
Ooh, hey, look.
A Venom Sack Lagac.
Oh, but there's also a Pact Altair. That's a huge signal, actually, that black might be open here. Getting this pick 6, this is one of the best black commons. So
It is, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards so far. None of them is an artifact. So I'm less jazzed on it at this point than I am on the Lagac, personally.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is still pack 1. We might still be able to get some artifacts. Granted, green has the least number of artifacts, but if that Wicker Folk comes back, it could be really good. And I think the Lagac is a little bit more replaceable. I'm going to take this Terror speculatively and see what we get. Ooh, now a Dredger's Insight. That's pretty good. Do you like that card?
That's probably the most interesting card here, especially if we're looking to be in black-green.
Golgari, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that too. Other consideration, this Streaking Oil Gorger has been
for sure,
pretty good, but it does look like white is open, blue, and then nobody's taking this Avishgar Raceway.
What is your take on the ticket thing?
The Ticket Tortoise? I think it's okay if you're splashing a lot or you need a lot of mana and you're on the play, but it's not. It would be like a last pick card for me. Ooh, a Defend the Rider. Wow, green is flowing. That's great. Yeah, Defend the Rider. I didn't even see this. Okay, so this is pick 8. So this is the one before the wheel, right? Yeah. So yeah. So this is perfect. This means that green is probably going to be open from this direction. So we can expect in pack 3, we should be seeing a lot of green, unless something drastically changes. Also noting a Midnight Mangler in the pack, and this Mutant Surveyor has been pretty good as well.
Mutant Surveyor is sweet. I think it's
best funny. We've got all the different colors in there. So not really picking up too many great signals, but here I think it's just going to be a Scrap Compactor. Just 1 mana, it can kill something small and kill something large later in the game. Any other considerations? Maybe a Wreck Remover?
I like Wreck Remover a lot. You can cycle it away if you don't need it. Sometimes just being able to exile things out of the opponent's graveyard and gain some life is good if you're trying to win a race or deal with anything from coming back.
We didn't get anything green on the wheel, just to note that. Also, it doesn't look like we're getting any black either. So it looks like blue, red, and white are possibly the colors that are more open here. I'm going to take a speculative Memory Guardian in case we somehow don't see any more green cards and have to pivot
over
into
the Broadcast Rambler.
Blue back.
I would have gone with the Broadcast Rambler personally, because we could have slotted that into green decently.
Yeah, here I'm just going to take the Thopterist. I mean, of the 3 cards, it's the best, and we're not splashing white or red, I don't think. So I could just take the gems. It is a rare. Then a Ghost Glitch Surveyor over these other 2 white cards.
I think that's the best of those 3, given where we're at right now.
Yeah. And then, you know what? I'm just going to pass the Interface Ace. I'll take the Island. Hey, nice. We got the green back on the wheel. Okay, cool. We've got an Achiok. That's a pretty good one. We also have an Ooze Patrol here, a Cloudspire Cycle. This Fearless Swashbuckler has been a really fun card that I've
Definitely
seen.
fun.
I do think this Ashiok is the best one, though, especially if we're going to be Golgari, where we're milling. We do need to pick up some pothole moles or some molt tenders to make this work.
Yep.
Also of note, there is a maximum overdrive
overdrive.
and Ooze
Yeah.
Patrol and a Silken Strength that I would play in a pinch there. So I'm going to take the Ashiok and hope to wheel the maximum overdrive. Also, the Agnosaurus Rex and Migrating Ketrodon can both be cycled to add to the Atchix
Creature count.
ability. Yeah, creature
Yeah.
count. Yep. So, and Ooze Patrol would also do that. I really hope we can wheel the Ooze Patrol or at least the maximum overdrive. Okay. Do we take interaction here? Or do we take another Ketrodon?
Which do you like better, the first Momentum Breaker or the second Ketrodon? I would stay proactive and take the Ketrodon personally.
You would take the Ketrodon. The only reason I'm hesitating in saying Momentum Breaker would just be because we don't have really any removal except for the Scrap Compactor.
The Scrap Compactor, for sure.
So that's the only reason I would maybe pass it up here. And green was flowing here, so I don't know. I'm not seeing too much green in this pack otherwise, and I don't want to really leave it a chance that we're not going to get some removal like this. So I think it's a Momentum Breaker over the Ketrodon. Although I could be convinced. What do you think, Paul? I'll go with whatever you think.
I like the idea of continuing to cut green and taking the only green card out of the pack. Since a Ketrodon, I'm going to play every Ketrodon that shows up.
That's true.
Otherwise,
now we have a Bestow Greatness versus a Wretched Doll. Again, not a ton of removal. Also to note, there's a Kaladin Triumph Caster, which would be really good in a red-white deck. But we didn't really see too much red or white. There's also a Push the Limit here, which is extremely good in a red deck that can cycle away its
vehicles.
Yeah, so like the Ironclads, the 6/3 with Menace, and yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the Bestow.
I think so too.
Being able to give trample in the late game and potentially get somebody is really important.
It sure is, yeah. All right, so we'll just do the Bestow. Okay, there's a Pothole Mole. I knew it was coming. Notably, there's also
Wreckage Wickerfolk.
They both do similar things. This one grabs you a land and is a 2/3. This one's a 1/3 and Surveil 2. That's actually a pretty close one.
I like the flyer. If we have thoughts of playing the Packed Terror in our green deck, also that would be where I would go.
Because this can also kind of get you towards a land.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think... Wow, that's really tough. I actually... I think I'm just going to go with the Pothole Mole because we're always playing green. Oh, and now we're getting hooked up with a Web Strike Elite. Sweet. That's amazing. There's another Wickerfolk here if we wanted it. Broken Wings. It looks hopefully like black is flowing
Hollow.
from this direction too.
Is that Jungle Hollow?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
Right, so it looks like the blue is definitely out here. We're definitely a green deck for sure. So we're looking for mana acceleration now and removal. Anything else that we're specifically looking for? I just like this Web Strike Elite. It's a 3/3 for 2 mana, and it can kill an artifact or enchantment with modality. I think we might see more Wreckage Wickerfolks later or on the wheel.
I hope we do.
All right, here's an interesting question. A Beast Rider Vanguard or second Engine Rat?
I'm on the Engine Rat plan personally. If we do want to definitely get into playing black-green, I want to start taking some quality black cards, and I think the Engine Rat does a little bit more for me than the 2/2. Granted, I love the activated ability 4 and a green, find a permanent.
Yeah, but I think we're playing for the late game here too, which also benefits the Beast Rider, but we may be able to find it later. All right, here's an interesting question. Do we go with Calaxian or a Walking Sarcophagus because it's an artifact? 7/2 is really good, but we don't have any... I mean, Bestow Greatness can push through some damage, but...
We don't have the Fang Guardian, or not Fang Guardian.
We passed one in the first...
4 that finds it, yeah.
I think the Walking Sarcophagus is just a fine early game play, which we are actually needing a little bit of. And there's an Intimidation Tactics. There's also a Chitin Gravestalker or Chitin Gravestalker, which is good if we're going to be, again, milling ourselves. I think we still need to find more moles, and we need more. Like, it would be really great if we could get the Wicker Folk back.
I'm not big on the Gravestalker personally. I would take the Intimidation Tactics personally.
It also cycles away. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So now we've got Camera Launcher or Wreck Remover.
I think this is a Wreck Remover pick, personally.
I think this is the pick because this makes two artifacts.
Two artifacts, so...
It could push us over the line with the Pact Altair. This is good too.
I like the fact that Wreck Remover cycles because it's playing into the Achik plan.
That's a good point, yeah. I'm going to take this Thornwood Falls here just as in case we get like a bomb blue card or something in pack 3 if we wanted to splash it. And I'm not high on Ripclaw Wrangler. There's a deck that wants to actively discard cards, so... All right, here... Nobody wants to push a limit deck? No? Okay. Ticket Tortoise, sure. Probably not playing it, but whatever. Another Ticket Tortoise, sure. This Unstoppable Plan is some gems, so I'm going to take that.
Sounds good.
And then a Broken Wings. Okay, that's fine.
Sweet.
Not terrible, but we do need some more removal,
happy to have it show up.
Oh, man, a River Churn Monument.
A bomb blue card but that's a double blue on the exhaust.
It is? Talk me into it and talk me out of it.
We could maybe...
It's an artifact?
We could maybe wheel the land. It is an artifact.
There's nothing else in this pack that I really want. I mean, aside from maybe the Greenbelt Guardian
and the Engine Rat are fine. We already have 2 Engine Rats. I don't mind a 3rd Engine Rat, but I think you just take the rare.
How many other 2-mana plays do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4? Not counting the Ticket Tortoise. We might need more early game. Oh, I don't know. This is the toughest pick that we've had so far. Oh, we do have 2 Engine Rats, though. I'm going to speculate on the River Churn because this can just win you games.
Definitely, and let's look for ways to splash it. Double blue is kind of an ask, but...
I asked for a Gearhulk, but it's the wrong colors.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a Molt Tender.
There's
also a Runover and a Siphon Fuel. Okay, so this is a turning point here. Do we go for the removal that we know we need, or do we speculate on this Molt Tender and hope we get the other ones? I'm not going to risk it. I'm just going to get the Runover.
That seems fair, yeah.
And then also, maybe we wheel the Night Market, maybe we wheel the Siphon Fuel, maybe we wheel the Molt Tender. Fingers crossed.
Any of those would be happy
Any of them
picks.
would be good. Yeah. I don't think any of them are coming back, but if one of them does, then I consider it a win. Oh, and look at that. There's another Molt Tender. And a Venom Cyclic Egg. I told you we would get another one. But there's also a Grim Bauble and a Maximum Overdrive here.
Overdrive. I'm thinking...
How many creatures do we have?
I'm thinking
13?
Bauble because we need more interaction, and it's an artifact if we're going to care about the Pact Altair.
Yeah, if one of the moles is going to wheel, then the other one might wheel. We just need to survive to late game because our late game is so good. Oh, we also have the Scurryfoot over here, so... You know what? I am going to take the Grim Bauble. I could also be talked into the Gak as well, but
I would take
let's just take the Bauble.
Yeah.
And then here, what do we got? Oh, another mole.
We were talking about splashing the...
You think the splash? I think I just want to make our... Because this can find a land as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and this might come back around. I don't know. I don't think too many other people are in blue-green, but we'll see. We'll see. Loxodon Surveyors, not bad. Is there anything else in this pack that we would want?
It's not an exciting pack for us.
No, not this one. I mean, we already got the bulk of our deck here. We have 25 cards here. And even if we don't play the River Churn Monument, I think we're still in really good shape. You know, even if we decide we're not going to play that. We definitely have enough playables, and I think that... Do
you see any argument for taking the Big Thopter?
Not really.
Not really.
Look, there's a Dismal Backwater. There's also a Hazard of the Dunes.
I think it's a Hazard of the Dunes.
Yeah, I think so,
unless we want a second Judger's Insight.
No, it's really good with Achik, but I don't think we need a second one.
Okay.
Right? I don't think we need a second one. There's also a back on or risky shortcut here, and there's a Fang Guardian.
I like the Fang Guardian as a trick.
Once we get to 4 mana, we're set. I think.
Yeah.
Locust Spray is a good trick. Yeah, I like that over the rest. Looks like we actually have quite a few ones. Silken Strength, I don't really want to play this, but...
We'll take it just to cut green. Yeah. And
Yeah, none of
then,
that stuff came. This was the pack that we were looking for.
yeah.
Oh, that's a bummer. Okay, well, we have a little bit of a artifact theme and a little bit of a stompy theme going on, so I don't know if we got enough fixing to do the River Churn Monument idea. Maybe I'll have to check it at the end, but just one pip on a tap land is probably not gonna make it. Yeah, I don't think we're getting it back. All right, I'm just going to take this Walking Sarcophagus, and I think that's probably the deck, more or less. More or less. I mean, we're definitely going to tweak it a little bit and make sure that we've optimized it. I'm sure there are a few places where we could have pivoted. You know, the pothole mole, excuse me, the molt tender. It really sucks that it was in the same pack as the removal that we needed.
Yeah.
I didn't really see too much removal otherwise, though, and none of the removal would have come back. So I think it was the right pick at the right time, but maybe one removal spell and one molt tender would have been better. I don't know. I just think once we get to 4 mana, it's going to be pretty good. All right, so let's take a look. All right, so we have these for creatures. Do you like the Silken Strength? I might cut that.
That's a fine cut. 2, 3.
I think we could probably cut some of these 1 mana plays. Like the intimidation tactics, maybe we don't need because it doesn't help our game plan with Achik and Agnesaur Rex at the top end.
We have
We're
17
really trying
creatures here. Are there any creatures that you're not excited for? Everything seems pretty okay to me based on our curve.
Yeah, let's see how many artifacts we have. Let's see. 1, 2,
3 if you count the scrap compactor.
3
is what I'm seeing. So kind of
4.
Up Grimball 4. So kind of underwhelming there.
I think the Pact Altair has to go, unfortunately.
Well, hypothetically speaking, if Pact Altair goes, do we care about Walking Sarcophagus? Is there anything in our board that we're more interested in playing if the Pact Altair is not there?
Not really.
If we make the creature elimination checklist go away,
I mean, most of the other stuff is in blue, and this River Churn Monument is really calling my name here, but the exhaustibility is a double blue exhaustibility, so that's going to be really tough.
How greedy are we? We have one dual land.
Greed is good. I just don't think maybe it's a good alternate win condition because what are our win conditions, right? If we look at what we have here, Hazard the Dunes can win, Achik can win, Migrating Ketrodon can win, Agnesaur Rex can win, Engine Rat can win, and over time, and that's it, right? Those are our win conditions.
Yeah, pushing damage in the late game seems to be our
we don't
win
have anything
condition,
that
or
gives
going very
trample
wide.
or. I mean,
we
this
have
has trample,
Bestow
this has
Greatness
trample.
and Agnesaur Rex that are going to give trample. So
in a board stall that would work.
Yeah,
I kind of like this build here without the Pact Altair.
Okay. What is one cut to get us to 23?
Yeah, we need one cut. I hate cutting Broken Wings, but it might be my first cut there. Either that or one of the Walking Sarcophagi.
I'm not crazy about Walking Sarcophagus in this
We still have
deck.
15 creatures after the Walking Sarcophagus cut. I like that a lot, actually.
Okay.
Especially if we're going 23-17, because we definitely need to hit our land drops. I would almost even consider doing 18 lands. Just so we don't... I mean, I could even consider cutting the Locust Spray. Just because it's not as impactful as Grimbauble. But what do we have to kill big things, right? We have this run over, but we also need one of our own things, big things, to do so. And then this scrap compactor, and then these defensive engine rats.
Engine rat, though, paired with run over, can deal with the big stuff when we need to.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's true. Okay, you want to roll with this? This looks pretty good. We have a couple double green cards, so I might go heavier green than black.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
would
think we have
say
any double
we
black
roll with
cards
this,
except for
and then we
Achik.
lean. Yeah,
9-8. That looks good to me.
yeah, 17
All right, so
million.
this is the build. Anything else you want to comment on?
I would say it's kind of a bummer that we didn't get a spin out in pack 2 potentially, but we shipped a lot of really good black stuff in pack
Yeah,
1.
yeah.
So it's not
We'll see if
surprising.
that pick where we chose the Ketrodon over, what was the other card that was that we chose the Ketrodon over?
I just went totally
It was
blank.
another. It was another green card. The Dredger's Insight, maybe.
Dredger's Insight, possibly.
There was some decision point in pack 2 where we could have chosen another
Something over the
Ketrodon versus.
second Ketrodon.
Yeah,
I thought it was a removal spell, possibly.
might have been. Either way, this has been a great draft experience. I'm pretty happy with this deck. Is it going to get 7 wins? I don't know.
Let's put a bet on it. Let's
All right.
put a record on it. What do you say
I
this
think
deck
this is a 4-3 deck.
I'm going to be optimistic and say it's a 5-3.
5-3.
I think this is going to play par magic at best.
Okay.
If we had some spin outs, I would say we would be looking at maybe a 6-3 deck. But without spin outs,
sometimes you also have to draw well. So it could be a 7 winner. We'll just have to find out. So we'll pick this up next time and maybe go through some of these games, and we'll let you guys know how the deck did.
and let us know what you think of our draft. What would you have drafted in our seat instead? And what do you like for this format? Like, tell us what this is playing out as for you.
Anything we missed? I mean, certainly red-white seemed pretty open. Just there were a lot of quality red-white cards that were going around because people weren't drafting it, but not enough to really push us in that direction to make a deck that would beat this deck. I don't think.
Not that I saw.
I didn't see any cards that would really shout to me, "Hey, this is a deck that can beat our deck." So sometimes that's how I look at it when I look at the draft, and if I could construct another deck out of all the other cards that we're going through, is there another deck out there that could beat this deck? Maybe one with the 3 spin outs that we passed. Maybe that would have a good chance, or possibly something with a lot of flyers, but I don't know. I think we drafted very solidly. I think we had good logic behind all of our picks, and now we'll just have to see how it pans out. Thanks so much for listening, everybody, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Sounds good. Cheers.